In the previous video, we have seen how you can create a footer for your page as well as how you can style the same element for different display resolutions using media queries. So, and I also asked the question in the previous video for the position of the footer. So, the answer is you don't really need to use position in footer, because if you remove the position property, you can see that the footer stays at the bottom. So now in this video, we are going to see the animations a bit, and then how you can perform the animations, and we might actually start JavaScript. And then we will also style some more elements for the mobile devices. And then we will also change this navigation bar, like we will make it as a hamburger menu, and we will use font or some for the icons and stuff. So let's get started. So first things first, let's style the navigation bar for mobile devices. So for this, you can actually use the dev tools to toggle to mobile devices. So I'll just do this, and you can also already see that the CSS is being applied. So first things first, I'm gonna remove this, and now I'm gonna remove this as well. So inside this, we will code our HTML. We will style our HTML for mobile devices. So first we are going to change the navigation bar. So for developing for developing a website for both multiple devices, Chrome tools are really helpful. So for example, if I want to change something just for test, we don't really need to change the code here, but we can simply change it here and observe the changes. So for example, if I take this navigation bar, I will click on inspect and it will show you the element we are focusing, right? So if we want to change the UL here, so we have display flex in here. So I can simply click on this, and if I change this, the changes will appear here. And you can simply click on Control Z to change it back. So now we can use dev tools to to test your website and then make changes and then just copy the same thing in your CSS file. So as I said earlier, we are going to create a navigation bar which will be a hamburger menu. So to make that, we have to create a button. We didn't discuss about buttons so far, so this will be the first video where we are introducing the buttons. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a button right before this UL, and I will call this as a menu opener or something like that. Menu opener. Then inside this, I will just grab the hamburger icon, the three lines. We call the three lines, see this thing, we call it as a hamburger menu. So I'm gonna go here, search for icons. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna search for hamburger and free. If I go to free, yeah, if I go to free, we can see that we have these bars. So I'll simply copy this and then I will paste it here. Now if I go back here, you can actually see that there is a button with the icon. So this is actually the button, and we can handle the button events like on click, on hover, etc. using JavaScript. So for hover, we can actually style the element differently with the CSS as well. So if I just come here and then if I just do menu opener, then I will apply a different styling if I hover on it. So let's say we change the background color of this to red. And if I hover on this, we are on mobile, so it won't show anything. So if I go back to this, okay, so the ID name is menu underscore opener. So menu underscore opener and hover. You can see that the color is changing to red. So we can, but we cannot do the click action CSS. To handle the clicks, we have to use JavaScript. So I will just remove this. We are going to style this icon as well. But for desktops, we don't need this icon to appear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use display none. So our element is menu opener, then display will be none. So you can see that the display is completely gone. I mean, the icon is completely gone. So there is another property called as visibility. We can simply hide it by using visibility property, but there is actually is what we say a flaw for this. I will just show you. So if I put visibility visible, you can see the button, right? So if I change this to hidden, it won't show the element, but it will still take the space. It will still take up the area, but it won't show you. It will just hide the element. But if you put display none, what it basically does is it won't display the entire element. So I'm going to use display none here because I don't want this icon to show up at all in uh, Windows or I mean desktop or big screens. So I will simply use display none, and inside our media query, you can simply put hash menu opener, and then inside this we will put display, let's say block. Or maybe display flex. It should work. Oh yeah, I didn't change the display size. So let's go to inspect, and you can see now that this button is appearing, right? Yeah, I didn't change. I didn't toggle to the mobile view, so it won't change, right? All right. Now let's give an ID for our UL as well, so that how we are going to do it is we will s- we will s- we will just put the element as it is, but we'll change the list to appear after one after other. So home will be here. So about me will be here. Projects and then socials. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna assign an ID for our UL. Let's say quick links or nav links. Nav links will be better. Nav links. So now what I'm gonna do is inside this I will put hash nav links, and we are going to display these in the one after other, right? So we are going to use display flex and then flex direction column. So now you can actually see that they appear one after the other. And then what we will do, the next thing we will do is we'll make the position absolute to make it stay upon everything. And then because this menu has to go on the left, and whenever I click on this button, it should appear from left to right, right? So if I will put the position to absolute, and then I will simply apply property left to minus 100%. So now you can actually see that the menu is just gone. So if I hover on this navigation and then menu, you can actually see that it is appearing here, right? It's appearing here at around here. So you can see that. So it's just gone to the leftmost part. So when I click on the button, we can simply change this left value and it will appear back. So we can add the functionality using JavaScript, which we are going to do that soon enough. But first, let us style this button as well as our nav bar. So the nav bar, for the nav bar, we have the ID navigation. So I'm gonna come here again and then navigation. Then I will give a bit padding, maybe 1 rem. Now our navigation bar is looking like a bit better than before, right? Now let's change the background color of our button. And then you can see that the button is actually looking a bit weird, right? So to make this button appear something like this, um, let's say something like this, or it could click this and like this. These are our buttons, right? So if you want to put like this, we can simply remove the border. If I do border none, you can see that this weird appearance is gone, right? I can simply change the color of this to white. And now we have the three bars. The font awesome works as a font but not as an icon. So you can simply use all the font, what we say, font properties to make to change the your icon. So if I do font size, if I increase font size to something like 24 pt, you can actually see that the icon size increases. So I will just put it in maybe 18, and you can see that now it is looking a bit better, right? But you can see that it is not fixed yet. So position fixed. Oh, okay. So the width of the page is a bit huge, so that is why the position is not applying, even though the position is fixed in the default styling, right? You can see that here navigation and position is fixed in the default style. All right. Now we can see that this is how your page will look if you follow the same steps. And now let us add the functionality for our hamburger menu. So first things first, JavaScript is very easy and it is often frustrating sometimes. So, but first I'm gonna give you how you can add the elements and how to access your HTML elements to your JavaScript. So to link your HTML and then JavaScript, all you have to do is you have to link your script file using the tag script. You can use this tag anywhere in your HTML, like in head or body or end of your body. So let's say, uh, so you can simply link a file, or you can also do it another way, which is you can simply write script just here. For example, if I do console.log test, and then if I go to the console here, you can see that the test is logged here. So whatever I change here, it will appear here. So you can write script in these two ways. One, by linking a file, or you can write it directly. The same thing follows, CSS also follows the same thing. Like you can link a file, like we linked our CSS file. Where is it? So here we linked our file, and you can also use style tag. I use style tag. I can simply do body, background color, red. So we can use style it this way as well. So what we are going to do is we are going to use files instead of directly putting it in our HTML. It's because the structure will be really good, right? So if you put everything in the same HTML, it will look a bit disorganized. So I'm creating a JavaScript file, and I will link it in our HTML file. So script and then servers script.js. And inside script.js, you can basically get any element you want using your IDs. If you are going to get your element using your ID name, you can get a specific element. And if you are going to get your element using class name, you will get all the elements which has the same class name. And if you want to get all the elements of a certain tag name, you can also do that. So I'm going to show all these three things for now. So let's say console.log. So what you are going to do is you can get all the elements from the document. So document is a keyword. So if you take up, if you look at the HTML, and it's not showing here actually, but this whole thing is a document. So you can also select the HTML tag as well. So first of all, document is actually a object. So in JavaScript, everything is an object. Everything you write is an object in the JavaScript. And remember that HTML is a markup language. It is not a programming language. HTML is a markup language, but JavaScript is a programming language. So you can do all the programming functions in JavaScript, but not in HTML. HTML just shows you whatever you write in the HTML file. So now console.log document dot. Now what we are going to do is we are going to get the element. If you are getting the element using our ID name, use get element by ID. It is case sensitive, so you have to use the exact name. And then we just give the name of our ID. So let's say if we are going to get the navigation, we can simply do navigation. And if I go to console, it shows null just because there is a reason why it is showing null. It is because this JavaScript is running before the page is loaded. So what happens is this element is not created yet, but we are accessing this element. So that is why we are getting a null element. Null is nothing but it is not existed. So what we are going to do is we are going to use an event. An event is something that your HTML or a user triggers and your JavaScript can handle that event. So, but first we have to specify the handle function, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to register the event. To do this, what we are going to do is we can simply call the add event listener function, or we can use on and on event name. For example, if we want to print this navigation element, all we have to do is we have to console.log when the when the page is loaded. So I will simply do window.onload is equals to, and if you use this braces, that means we are going to use a function, and this is called arrow function, where we basically, this is a shorthand notation for function. So we can also do something like this function, and then just, then you can also do something like this. But when we write big codes, we use arrow functions a lot. So I'm going to go with arrow functions, and we don't have any arguments. So I will just simply put the brackets, and then, so all we have to do is we have to put this console.log inside window.onload. Now you can see that the element is actually occurring here. You can see that the element is appearing here, and you can also see the whole HTML structure inside the console itself. And if you hover on it, it will show you which element you are hovering on it. So now, the same way, what we are going to do is we are going to apply an event listener for our button. So inside the window.onload, I will just get the button element. So const, because I'm not going to change the button, so I will use the constant. Const stand for constant, and we have three keywords, which is where and let and const. We will use const a lot in here, and then we will use let a lot in here, but we don't use var a lot in here because var is not a really good thing to use in JavaScript because JavaScript is a dynamic dynamic data type conversion. So if you write, for example, if I write something like var test is equals to 1, so it will take 1 as a number. Or if I do something like this, and then if I do test plus plus and console.log test, you can see that it actually showing me 2, but I initialized text as string. So what JavaScript basically does is it will automatically convert the string to the integer. So this is why JavaScript is actually hated most, because it converts the data types itself, and what it basically does is sometimes it will convert the data types where we don't need to convert it to. So there is something called TypeScript which we use instead of JavaScript to avoid this problem, and we might actually start series on JavaScript TypeScript as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use constant, and then let's say menu opener is equals to, and then we are going to get the element which is document dot get element by id. And what's the id of the button? It is menu underscore opener. And now inside this we have to add a event listener for our menu opener. So menu opener dot add event listener, and then I can simply open our bracket, and then inside our brackets we have to define which event we are going to register. So the event we are going to register is click. So we will open the menu when we click the button, so it will be click. Now I will I have to write the code for the handling. So this is for registering the click event, and now we have to handle the event. So what I'm going to do is we will write a function for the handling. So if we can also define parameters here if we want to do something with our button. And let me show you. So if I do something like this, so this thing is actually a variable, or you can also say it's a parameter. If I do something like console.log e, it's like passing a parameter to a function, and this is the callback for the click event listener of menu opener button. So when you click on the button, whatever happening in the event, it will appear in the console. So if I click on this, you can see that the event triggered, and it also showed me everything that the event has. So these will see these for when we are doing complex programming. Like if you want to see much more about what happening in the event, or if the event is not working, we basically use this E and stuff. So for now, we are not going to use anything, so I will just leave it. You can also simply do without initializing this brackets, you can simply put E and it still works, because the callback can be a function or a variable. So you can put either. So for the basics, I'm just gonna put a function, and you can also observe that we are using arrow function here because it will be a bit more easier. Now what I'm going to do is we are going to set the left property of nav links. So I will also initialize the nav links document.get element by id nav underscore links. Now nav links dot. So we are going to change the style of this, and we are going to change the left property. So dot style dot, we are going to change the left property. So left is equals to 0. So if you put 100 minus 100%, it will go to the uh, left side to the 100%. And if I put 0, it will stay at the left side. So it will start at the left side. So if I click on this, you can see that home, about me, and project as well as socials appeared. But the defect of this type of thing is, if I click the button again, it won't close. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change this ID to class, and then I will put open. Okay, close. So why I change the nav links from ID to class is because the ID is more important than class. In CSS, how it takes is your browser will select the IDs better than class. So IDs have more priority than class. Now we can see that we have, so why I put the close is because the menu is actually closed now. So we also need to change it here. Dot nav links. It's actually dot open, right? Dot open. Okay, dot close. Or I can actually use nav links, and then we will apply left for dot open and dot close. Dot open with dot close. So dot close will have the left of minus 100, and then dot open will have left of 0. So what I basically do is, I will simply toggle the class name of our list whenever I click on the button. So it is possible using the JavaScript. So all you need to do is, I'll take the class name. So class list nav links to class list. So class list basically is what is nav links and close. If you print this class list of nav links, it will show you an array. So console, if I do something like console.log nav links.class list, oh, I have to click on this, right? Okay, wait a minute. It's showing nav links is so I have to get the element by class name but not ID. Get element by class name. So you can observe that when we are getting the ID using, I mean, getting the element using the ID, you can see that there is get element by ID. That means a specific element is being accessed. But when you're using class name, you can see that there is elements. So I already told in the first video that the class, we use class when we want to stylize different elements in the same way. And if we are using ID, that means we are styling a specific element in a specific way. So if you are using class name, that means it will get all the elements which have the same name. So I think it's better if we use the ID for the nav links, something like this, and then class like close and open for class. I mean, because we are only applying left property for our class names, right? So I will change this to ID, and then inside this I will use ID nav. Now what I'm going to do is, now if I click on this, you can see that the open will appear here. I mean close, because we applied close, right? We have a class name close, yeah. So you can see that we have an array with close. So now what I'm going to do is, I'll simply remove this, and then we have to toggle our class name. So class name dot toggle, and we have to toggle to open, because we have left 0 at the dot open. Now if I click on the button, you can basically see that we get home, about me, projects, and then socials. And if I click it back, it will disappear. You can see that it actually working. Let me style the nav links, list specifically so that we can see that. So I will apply a background color. Let's say this one. So now if I click on this, you can see that, right? Home, about me, project, and social. And now we can also change this icon specifically. Like it has a hamburger icon, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to put a X mark. If I search for X mark, it appeared. Okay. So you can access this specific element using our class name FA bars. So I will go here and then const hamburger menu is equals to document dot get element for a class name FA bars. So now what basically happens is even though it returns a single item, it will return as a array. You already looked it here, right? We got in let me show you once again because to just make this clear, because whenever we are using get elements by ID, by class name or get elements by tag name, what basically happens is this certain instruction will return an array of elements, but for id it will only return a single element. So even if there is a one element, it will return as a array. So if I actually do, if I log this, you can see that it is a collection. That means it's a list. Even though there is only one element, it will return as a list. So what we are going to do is we are going to access the first element because there is only one element in the list. So we are going to access the first element itself, which will be the hamburger menu. So you can simply use this as we use arrays in the programming language like C or C++. We use the same syntax here. We use the square brackets, and inside the square brackets, we will give the index number. Because this is an array, or you can say it as a list or a collection. So this is an array and you're accessing a first element, which is a 0. So in JavaScript, the first index starts with 0, unlike in Python. All right. Now we have our hamburger menu as well. Now what I'm going to do is hamburger menu dot class list dot toggle. So we have FA bar here, and we are going to change to FA X mark. Inside this FA X mark. Now if I go here and if I click on this, you can see that now we can see the into mark. And if I click it again, it will change back to hamburger menu. So, but this is like a discrete thing. It's not animated, like it's not showing it slowly. It's just simply showing and hiding it. So it's just discrete, like it's like flashing. So what we are going to do is we are going to apply transition. So I can simply put the transition here. Transition 0.2 seconds is enough. And if I click on this, you can see that it just slide from left to right. The class list change when you're changing the class list, if the icon is changing, it will be faster. It won't be the transition won't apply for changing the content, right? So now you can see that it's looking more like it is sliding from left, right? So now we have a hamburger menu as well. You can style this menu further. Um, so that's it for this video because we have actually used JavaScript finally, and then we have seen how you can apply. How you can change the menus and styling for your mobile devices particularly, and for different devices using media queries. And if you observe, I've written all the code in media queries. And at the rate media. I also told that we are going to see a little bit about animation today, but I think the video is long enough right now, so I will try to explain it in the next video. So thanks for the support so far. I'm really glad that I'm getting this much support. And please do subscribe for this channel because I'm going to upload the videos weekly if possible. I will upload the videos taking a day gap. So thank you very much.